Ada Mac-Ozigbo of National Open University of Nigeria. Once again, you're welcome to this class, MBA 833 Industrial Relations. Today we'll be discussing trade unionism in Nigeria. Trade unions or labor unions are organizations formed by workers from related fields, and they work for the common interest of their members. We'll find out how they help workers in issues like fairness of pay, good working environment, hours of work, and other benefits. Now, let's hit the road. Topic 6. Trade unionism in Nigeria. Trade unionism in Nigeria started during the colonial rule. That was in 1912. At the advent of the formation of the Nigerian Civil Service Union, which has membership strength covering all the then workers in the civil service in the country. A splinter organization called the Nigerian Union of Railway Workers sprang up in 1921 as a result of government policy which spelled a reduction in wages of the workers, and the intent of this was to fight inflation. The railway workers under the leadership of Michael Imodu reacted to the wage act, and they subsequently formed the Nigerian Union of Railway Workers. Therefore, the Nigerian Civil Service Union, considered to be docile in fighting for the right of the workers, was ditched by the railway workers, which later on became militant towards the colonial masters. The formation of the Railway Workers Union influenced other government workers to form their unions, notably the birth of the Nigerian Union of Teachers in 1931, as spearheaded by nationalists such as Reverend Kuti and Alvan Ikoku. Different authors have defined trade union in different ways. The Webbs defined a trade union as a continuous association of wage earners for the purpose of maintaining or improving the conditions of their working lives. And according to Cole, a trade union means an association of workers in one or more occupations, an association carried on mainly for the purpose of protecting and advancing the members' economic interests in connection with their daily work. Then, according to Section 2H of Trade Union Act of 1928, a trade union means any combination, whether temporary or permanent, formed primarily for the purpose of regulating the relations between stakeholders. By stakeholders, we mean workmen and employers, between workmen and workmen, or it could be between employers and employers. The British Ministry of Labour has defined trade unions as all organizations of employees, including those of salaried and professional workers, as well as those of manual wage earners, which are known to include among their functions that of negotiating with their employees and having the objective of regulating conditions of employment. After going through all the above definitions, now trade union can be defined as a continuous and voluntary association of the salary or wage earners engaged in whatever industry or trade, formed for protecting the members' interest, improving the conditions of their working lives, and ensuring better relations between them and their employers through collective bargaining. So the trade union is an organization of workers formed to further the social, economic, and political interests of all its members. We can see one of the activities of a trade union is represented here. Fighting for their rights, carrying placards, and so on. Trade unions have become an integral part of many professional bodies across the world. In Nigeria, for instance, workers have various unions which serve as the mouthpiece of members within the profession. The major aim of such unions is to defend the rights of members. There are numerous trade unions in Nigeria under the larger coalition of the key unions. But let's just give examples of some of those unions. We have Nigerian Labour Congress, which is NLC. You have National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASON, Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. You have Nigeria Union of Teachers, NUT, Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities, NASU. We have Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, SOP, National Association of Medical Doctors, NAD, and Trade Union Congress, TUC. Having analyzed the definitions of trade union, the characteristics of trade union is now revealed. We have that it is a voluntary association of workers formed to protect and promote their interests through collective bargaining. Such associations of workers could be temporary or permanent. And trade union being voluntary, a worker has a choice to join or not to join a union. And the trade union also has choice to affiliate or not affiliate itself with an apex body of trade unions and federation of unions. Why do workers join a trade union? Do they join because they want to participate, or they want to fight for their rights, responsibilities, or is it for mere representation? Human beings, we all know, are rational creatures. They usually act rationally in different spheres of their lives. So, workers similarly join a union with a rational approach, whether joining a union will be beneficial or not. And this can simply be decided by making a cost-effect analysis in this regard. The excess of benefits, over cost or over profit or reward justifies workers joining a trade union. So let's take a look at what's the reasons, the core reasons why workers join trade unions. Researchers have devoted a great deal of time and effort to study why employees choose to join a union. And the major reasons are: you have job security, wages and benefits, working conditions, fair and just supervision, powerlessness, and need to belong. Let's take them one after the other. Job security. Employees need to have a sense of job security. Yes, they want to be sure that management will not make unfair and arbitrary decisions about their employment. They look up to unions to ensure that their jobs are duly protected against layoffs. Then we have wages and benefits. We all know that employees work for livelihood. Therefore, they may think that the union, with its united strength, will ensure fair wages at par with those of other workers in the community. Benefits such as medical facility, pensions, paid sick leave, vacations, holidays, and so on. Then we have working conditions. Employees like to work in a healthy, and safe environment. Although there are statutory provisions for, providing employees a safe work environment, they still feel more secure knowing that trade union is directly involved in safety and health issues relating to them. Then we have fair and just supervision. The days are long gone when managers or leaders could rule employees with a kind of iron fist. Thanks to the trade union that brought about a change or shift in leadership styles from autocracy to democracy. This is to ensure that managers treat their employees fairly, justly, and respectfully. Then we have powerlessness. Employees individually often feel voiceless or powerless to bring about changes, that will benefit them. But the union often provides them a powerful collective voice to communicate their dissatisfaction and communicate their frustration to management. So this is based on labor philosophy, that philosophy that says unity is strength. And then finally we have need to belong. We all know that man is a social animal. Therefore, the need to belong in both his personal and work lives. The union from this point of view provides a mechanism for bringing people together, not only to promote common job-related interests, but also to organize programs, functions, and social events from time to time to create a strong bond among the union members. So to conclude here, the management, if the management fails to provide all this kind of job security, fair remuneration, safe and healthy working conditions, fair supervision, and all that becomes a problem. Time to take activity 1. Explain the meaning of trade union, showing how a trade union is different from an employers' association. Taking a look at the structure of trade union, what comes to mind is the classification or grouping of unions into related areas. In Nigeria, for instance, the trade unions can be grouped into major categories, such as you have the General Work Union, you have the Crafts Union, and you have the Industrial Union. Under General Work Union, the unions under this group have membership cutting across various different grades in terms of employment. They are normally organized by people of different grades in terms of their status or positions in their organizations. A good example is the coal mining union. And then we have the crafts union, or you can call it the trade union because it borders on their trade. So the crafts union is organized and run by professionals in specific trades, regardless of their place of work. In other words, these unions have membership that cuts across organizations, whether in private or public sector. Examples are associations of electricians, carpenters, doctors, etc. And then we have industrial unions. These are formed by workers who are in the same industry. In other words, these are unions organized on industrial basis. Examples are unions of textile workers, bank workers, civil servants, petroleum workers, and so on. Theories of trade unionism. There are various theories of trade unionism, as we can see, and we're going to take some of them. Karl Marx theory. Marx postulated that trade union is an association of workers in which the workers organize themselves to overthrow the capitalist sector, which has been exploiting their workers, making them compete among themselves for available jobs. And then the Webb's theory, as propounded by Sidney and Beatrice Webbs, husband and wife. The theory postulates that workers are primarily bound together for the purpose of improving and maintaining their working conditions. And then the Seligman-Perlman's theory. An American, Seligman, postulated that trade unions emerged from individual workers' quest to deal with the problem of job scarcity. He contended, that the pattern of industrial organization in any given economy depends on factors such as the mix of union executive, the strength and ability to resist the capitalist, who is the owner of the capital and the organization, the job consciousness of a worker, and the role of the intellectuals. And then we have the Robert Huxley's theory. This theory suggests that the workers drew themselves into unions not necessarily for any other reason, but because of their psychological need to form groups, which can be used for every other thing. And then we have Frank Tannenbaum's theory. Tannenbaum postulated that workers are driven to form unions as a result of a sense of feeling of being alienated from both the job and the society. In essence, workers do form unions to create an avenue for a collective and mutual relationship among themselves. And we have John Common's theory. According to this theory, trade unions are formed as partners in progress with the employers. Therefore, trade unions are not opponents of the employers or slaves. Commons postulated that unions came to be so as to work hand in hand with the employers, and with that belief that if the profit increases, they themselves will share out of it. What are the factors that led to the emergence of trade unions in Nigeria? Factors such as the colonial rule, impact of industrial revolution, colonial government as major employer of workers, impact of the world wars, role of international industrial organizations, government policies, emergence of political parties, class conflicts and political developments in West Africa, and impacts of the Great Depression. Formation of trade union. For a trade union to be formed, the following conditions must prevail. What are those conditions? Membership strength of at least 50 workers, a distinct identity different from the existing trade unions, the name does not contain reference to a person, institution, etc. The interests of members of a new union are not sufficiently represented by an existing trade union, and the purpose of the union is lawful and apolitical, that is, not interested or involved in politics. Problems of trade unions. The trade union movement could not make its expected headway due to one reason or the other. And so the trade union movement has suffered from the following: small size, poor finance, politicization, multiplicity of unions, lack of enlightened labor force. Trade union movement in Nigeria is plagued by the predominance of small-sized unions. And we know that small size brings about weakness in bargaining power. Then talking about poor finance, small size in unions has its direct bearing on its financial status. So it also accompanies poor subscriptions, and therefore the trade unions cannot undertake welfare activities. Politicization is another one, a serious defect of the trade union movement in Nigeria. in that the leadership has been provided by professional politicians. These political leaders possess little knowledge of the background of labor problems. Then, multiplicity of unions. Trade unionism in Nigeria is characterized by a multiplicity of unions based on craft, creed, and religion, and this leads to union rivalry in organizations. Finally, lack of enlightened labor force. The lack of enlightened labor force is capable of maintaining and manning, conducting the movement effectively, and has been a major problem in the development of trade unions in the country. For effective involvement of a government in the management of industrial affairs in the country, there is need for the existence of a viable body within the organized private sector with which the government can rely on for consultation. And that's the need for employers' organization in Nigeria. So let's take a look at formation of the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association called NECA. NECA constitutes the central organization for the employers in the organized private sector of a country. And the formation of a body was prompted on the strength of a suggestion by the government regarding the need for such a body to exist for consultation on social and industrial policy matters. The association was subsequently inaugurated on the 16th of January 1957 to serve purely as a consultative body within the organized private sector in the country. Initially, the association was structured out into geographical groups and industrial sectors, mainly on an informal nature, until the Trade Union Decree of 1978 was promulgated, which implied legal status for the Sectoral Employers Association. Considering the number of the employers' consultative associations existing in the country, NECA was reorganized into a quasi-confederation with membership structure such as ordinary members, associate members, and affiliate members. Let's take a look at the ordinary members. These are individual companies or corporate bodies which employ a minimum number of 5 workers and engage mainly in business or economic operational activities such as manufacturing, distribution, retailing, agriculture, mining, finance, transportation services, consultancy, and so on. The present scenario is that such companies, which number over 500, form the bulk of the NECA membership. Then we have the associate members. These members are the statutory corporations whose operational activities are carried on in similar way to that of an industrial undertaking, trade, or business. They are the type of the government at any level of the polity. The number of such corporations is now few in view of the accelerated privatization policy of the Obasanjo administration. The next one is affiliate members. These members are the industrial and sectoral employers associations, industrial groups or trade associations. Most of these organizations which are affiliate members of NECA are trade unions that are registered under the Trade Unions Amendment Decree of 1997. Examples are Association of Automobile, Boatyard Transport Equipment and Allied Employers of Nigeria. We have Association of Food, Beverages and Tobacco Employers, Chemical and Non-Metallic Products Employers Association, National Association of Agriculture and Allied Employers, Nigeria Association of Small-Scale Industry, and so on. Now, time for activity 2. Identify and explain the various theories propounded by eminent scholars to rationalize the advent of trade union movements. In summary, we have seen that trade unionism is an integral aspect of modern industrial organizations, which is inevitable toward protecting the rights and interests of workers in their various organizations. Hence, you can appreciate why you have been a member of one trade union or the other at your workplace. This lesson has been used to support the essence of trade unionism in any industrial organization. In particular, it is used to throw light on the nature of trade unions in the country, requirements for their formation, their registration, structure, funds, politics, membership, and the central organization of trade unions in Nigeria. Thank you.